welcome to classes of Preet. Today we are going to study biology, absorption by roots, the process involved, part 2. In the part 2 we are going to discuss about the fourth and fifth point, and the first 3 points I have discussed in the previous video, that is part 1. If you haven't checked, please go and check it. And now let's start. So point 4, active transport. It is the passage of a substance from its lower to higher concentration through a living cell membrane using energy from the cell. It uses energy. Certain nutrients such as ions of nitrates, sulfates, potassium, etc. cannot pass through the cell membrane of the root cells easily. This is because their concentration is higher inside the root cells, and it is so maintained in order to develop osmotic pressure for absorbing water. In this way, the concentration gradient of these ions is opposite to that of diffusion. In other words, to obtain them, these ions will have to be forcibly carried inward from the region of their lower concentration outside to region of their higher concentration inside. And this requires energy supplied by the cell in the form of ATP. Now, passive transport. It is nothing different from diffusion. There is a free movement of molecules from their higher concentration to the lower concentration, and it refers to requiring no input of energy. Now fifth point, turgidity and flaccidity, plasmolysis. So now turgidity. It is the state of a cell in which the cell wall is rigid and stretched by an increase in the volume of vacuoles due to the absorption of water, and the cell is then said to be turgid. In other words, you can also say when a cell reaches a state where it cannot accumulate any more water, that is, it is fully distended, it is called turgid, and the condition is called turgidity. The pressure of the cell contents on the cell wall is called turgor pressure, and the pressure exerted by the cell wall to the cell content is called wall pressure. If at any time the cell wall is unable to bear the turgor pressure, it ruptures and the cell contents burst out. This is exactly what happens when fruits and animals sometimes burst. When turgid, the cell is in somewhat a balanced state. No more water is entering or no leaving it. Its turgor pressure counterbalances the wall pressure, and therefore there is no further absorption of water even though the concentration of solutes inside the cell may be greater than the outside the cell. Now flaccidity. It is the condition in which the cell content is shrunken and the cell is no more tight. The cell is then said to be flaccid. Plasmolysis. It is the contraction of cytoplasm from the cell wall caused due to the withdrawal of water when placed in a strong solution. Or you can easily say it, the shrinkage from the cell wall is called plasmolysis, and the cells in this state are said to be limp or flaccid, and the condition is called flaccidity. And when the cell is recovered or reversal of plasmolysis, it's called deplasmolysis. Now, uses of turgidity to plants. First point, turgidity provides rigidity to soft tissues such as the leaves. When there is not enough water in a leaf, it wilts. That is, its petiole and lamina becomes loose and the leaves drops down. Wilting of the leaves is usually noticed when a plant is exposed to the hot afternoon sun, when the amount of water lost during transpiration is more than the water absorbed through the roots. In the evening, when transpiration is reduced, the quantity of water absorbed exceeds the loss of water through transpiration. The turgidity of the leaf cells is restored and the leaves again stand out. Now, second point. Turgor pressure helps to push through the hard ground. As in mushrooms, we have seen. Sometimes the roots of certain trees have been seen to crack the walls of a concrete floor of an adjoining building. This again is due to turgor pressure. Now, third point. Turgor in root cells builds up root pressure. If you cut a well-watered pot plant a few centimeters above the soil and immediately fix a glass tubing to it by means of a rubber connection, water will start coming out of the cut stem and rise up in the glass tubing. This rising water can raise the mercury filled in a connected manometer, and this upward flow of water is due to heavy pressure from the roots, which is called root pressure. A root pressure is the pressure developed in the roots due to continued inward movement of water through the cell-to-cell osmosis, which helps in the ascent of cell sap upward through the stem. Due to root pressure, water can rise in the tube up to a certain height only, and the loss of water through a cut stem is called bleeding. So bleeding is the loss of water, that is cell sap, through a cut stem is called bleeding. Now fourth point, turgor in the opening and closing of stomata. We have all read about stomata. Their opening and closing depend on the turgidity of guard cells, right? So each guard cell has a thicker wall on the side facing the stomata and thin wall on the opposite side. Guard cells contain chloroplast. As a result of the synthesis of glucose during photosynthesis and some other chemical changes, the osmotic pressure of the contents of the guard cells increase and they absorb more water from the neighboring cells, thus becoming turgid. On account of turgor, the guard cells become more arched outwards and the aperture between them widens, thereby opening the stomata. At night or when there is shortage of water in a leaf, the guard cells turn flaccid and their inner rigid walls become straight, thus closing the stomatal aperture. Okay, now fifth point, turgor pressure. The rapid dropping of the leaves of the sensitive plant, that is Mimosa pudica, touch me not plant, is an outstanding example of turgor movement. If one of the leaves is touched very lightly, the leaflets fold up and within 2 to 3 seconds the entire leaf drops. If the leaf is touched somewhat strongly, the wave of folding and dropping spreads from the stimulated leaf of the neighboring leaves. Slowly the leaves recover and again stand erect. In this plant, the stimulus of touch leads to the loss of turgor at the base of the leaflets and the base of the petioles called pulvinus. Sometimes similar turgor movements are found in insectivorous plants whose leaves close up to entrap a living prey. The bending movement of certain flowers towards the sun and the sleep movements of the leaves of certain plants at night are also due to the turgor movements. So root pressure is the pressure developed in the roots due to continued inward movement of water through cell to cell osmosis, which helps in the ascent of cell sap upward through the stem. Bleeding, loss of water through the cut stem, and guttation, the loss of excessive water as tiny drops along the margins of the tip of the leaves is called guttation. Now an experiment to show that roots absorb water. So you can take a test tube A filled with water, pull out a young leafy plant from the soil with its roots intact, insert the roots into the test tube shown. Put a few drops of oil in the test tube to prevent any loss of water evaporation. Mark the level of water, set up a similar test tube, that is B, but without the plant. In a day or two, we will find that the level of water in the test tube A falls but not in the B, proving that the water lost in test tube A was absorbed by the roots. Vascular bundles in the stems, roots, leaf stalk and leaf veins are all continuous and form an unbroken system of tubes. Collectively, they form the transport system throughout the entire plants. Water and salt travel upward mainly in xylem and the food substance travel up and down in the phloem. The water is carried by xylem to the plant and the food is carried to the plants by phloem. Now forces contributing to ascent of sap. There are four main forces which contribute to the upward movement of sap. First is root pressure. Root pressure builds up sufficient force to push the sap in the xylem vessels up to a certain height, and they may be enough for herbivorous plants. Second, capillarity, that is narrow diameter. So capillarity of xylem vessels causes the water from the lower level to rise to fill up the vacuum created by the loss of water due to transpiration from the leaves. Narrower the diameter of a tube, greater will be the height of the water rising in the exerting a force called capillary force. Third, transpiration pool. As the water is lost from the leaf surface by transpiration, more water molecules are pulled up due to the tendency of water molecules to remain joined, cohesion, and thus to produce continuous column of water through the stem. Fourth point and the last point is adhesion. It causes the water to stick to the surface of leaves, thus drawing more water molecules from below when the leaf cells lose water during transpiration. This pulling force or suction force provided by the leaves is especially important in tall trees such as pines, which do not have enough root pressure. Downward movement of sap is relatively simple. The food manufactured in the leaves is dissolved in water and it flows down mainly on account of the force of gravity. So here we have completed the full chapter, and if you like the video, please turn the black thumb blue and subscribe the channel, and thanks for watching.